What's up, guys? Your boy, 22K13. Gonna talk about 8 ups and 7 downs from last night WWE Raw, July 13th. And this comes from WhatCulture.com. The wait is nearly over, and soon WWE will bring its fans Battleground, a pay-per-view that had the vast majority of its matches announced within days of the previous special event that had left people involved in feuds where they already know they're facing someone in 3 weeks, but they still have to go out, battle a third party, and still keep the focus on their scheduled pay-per-view match. It's an odd way to build to a pay-per-view, but it's thankfully almost over. Putting that aside, WWE went for the full hard sale Monday night, not just bringing out Brock Lesnar to open the show, but to close it as well. It also boldly launched a new chapter in women's wrestling that could have huge ramifications for the future, or it could just be lip service, and a trio of talented wrestlers left it all in the ring, winning fans respect and showing just what they can do if given the chance to shine. Battleground might be a B-minus show, but it is being put as a big deal, with Lesnar coming back a month earlier and John Cena and Kevin Owens going off in their rubber match. Raw definitely did its job and piquing interest in the special event, so it will be interesting to see how things pan out. With that said, what went in with a bang and what went out with a whimper? Let's find out. The down, number 7. World's strongest heel or face? To be fair, not every wrestler needs to be a straight good guy or a villain. But when a superstar seems to vacillate between the two, the wrestler is either directionless or a bella. In Mark Henry's case, he seemed like he was just a big, threatening guy to come out from the back, look imposing, and then lose. Since returning at Elimination Chamber, Henry had lost every televised match until Monday. During that stretch, he faced babyfaces Roman Reigns and Ryback, then lost to Big Show and squared off against Intercontinental Champion Ryback again. It looked like he was nothing more than a guy. Monday, Henry teamed with the primetime player to defeat the New Day, his first televised win in 3 months. But after the victory, the world's strongest man celebrated with Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, doing their millions of dollar dance and hugging Titus. If this is a bona fide face run for Henry, that's great. But let's hope he doesn't come out next week and attack Neville. Number 6. Who nominates these people? Remember the old Sesame Street game of one of these things is not like the other? Let's play it real quick. Ronda Rousey, Serena Williams, Danica Patrick, the U.S. women's soccer team, and the Bella Twins. Let's ignore the poor storyline and that have played the Diva division. Not to denigrate the Bellas, who perform athletically at a level that the majority of the population can't, but the other women who have been nominated for a Teen Choice Award for female athletes are world-class athletes. All of them are the best in their sports: UFC, tennis, racing, soccer. The Bellas aren't the best athletes or performers in WWE. Natalya and Paige are probably the best in-ring performer on the Divas roster, while Naomi is probably the most athletic, and Tamina and Natalya are the strongest. Again, this is not to say that the Bellas aren't good athletes, but they aren't the best in their industry. Yet they land themselves next to Ronda Rousey and the U.S. women's soccer team. Good for them, but it just looked really out of place. Number 5. What a hero, as he had been for several years. John Cena is regularly portrayed as the victorious babyface standing up for the United States and his beloved C Nation. But Monday, fans might have seen a little mischievousness creep into Cena's persona while sitting in on commentary during the Rusev, Cesaro, Kevin Owens triple threat for a shot against Cena. John bragged multiple times about how he was going to be fresh for his match. True, he put over all 3 competitors and talked about how the importance of being a fighting champion, but little comment throughout and stressing when he thought the match was almost over just fell off for someone like Cena. He then went into his match against Rusev and started dancing around, struggling to the fans as an exhausted Rusev struggled to stand and almost taking him for granted. While there is absolutely nothing wrong with any of this, it goes back to the argument that Cena is supposed to be the role model for all the kids in the audience. It might be nitpicking, but something about Cena's antics rubbed the wrong way. The problem is, if anyone else did this, you might think he was throwing Steve of a heel turn. But with Cena, it's just one of those things. Number 4, lip service. We know that WWE has to be worried about the poor ratings Tough Enough has gotten this far, so doing a short segment on Raw to Italian fans to tune in is not the worst idea. It certainly can't drive ratings lower, correct? The cool thing about Tough Enough is that one of the trainers is one of WWE's most popular women's wrestlers of all time, Lita. Aside from a few guest spots here and there, Lita has been absent from WWE since her retirement in 2006. Having her back in the fold is a great benefit for WWE and its fans. So when Lita came out on Raw Monday night, it should have been reason for celebration. But rather than getting a cool moment, Lita simply mentioned the young NXT stars who were making an impact on Raw, and then noting that a future star could be up on the stage, and she proceeded to introduce the remaining 10 competitors. Maybe the segment was trimmed for time, but bringing Lita out for 30 seconds of mic time is a big waste. Either have something a little more substantial or don't bother. Number 3, so they feuding again. The reunion of the Authority didn't last very long, did it? After berating the members of the Authority and having to stand on his own for a bit, Seth Rollins managed to reunite with Kane and Janitor Security, bringing the Authority back together to confront Brock Lesnar 3 weeks ago. It looked like the band was back together, but after Monday's contract signing went airy, when had that ever happened before? Rollins turned on the man he tormented and mocked off and on for the past several months, Kane, while the director of operations was lying on the floor with a possible broken ankle at Lesnar's hand. Rollins grabbed a mic and started insulting him, then kicked Kane in the injured leg. This wouldn't be a huge negative if it wasn't for the fact that Kane had erupted at Rollins and dialed it back. Rollins had yelled at Kane and had to mend fences, and back and forth they gone, just when it looked like the Authority had patched things up, at least for the foreseeable future. We get another seed of dissension deal from Kane and Rollins. Did we really need that? Number 2, back where he left off. When Eddie Guerrero tragically died in 2005, his nephew Chavo Guerrero Jr. was doing a golfer gimmick as Cohen White. That character was quickly abandoned as Chavo reclaimed his family name and performed as himself again. Some might think it was pandering, but a large segment of the fans weren't going to buy Chavo as Cohen given Eddie's real-life passion. WWE had a similar situation recently when Dusty Rhodes passed away. His younger wrestling son, Cody Rhodes, had been performing at Stardust for the past year. After spending several weeks off television, Rhodes returned Monday at Stardust. In fact, he delivered a promo about how all the heroes will fail, and alluding to a crossover feud that was brewing before Dusty passing against Stephen Amell, star of TV Arrow. If this is indeed the case, it means that WWE is basically staying the course with Rhodes, having him retain the Stardust character and resume building to a SummerSlam match against Amell. WWE had a chance to allow fans to really get behind Cody, maybe really reinvent him as a serious performer rather than comic relief. When Stardust came out to face Neville Monday, fans cheered to welcome him back, but his heel act led largely to silence, which is a shame. It feels like a huge missed opportunity, all in the name of preserving a SummerSlam celebrity match. Number 1, the feud must continue. When King Barry delivered a well-timed bullhammer elbow to an airborne R-Truth last week, it looked like Barry had finally knocked off the imposter king and could move on to an actual real feud instead of constantly battling the court jester. Monday, we learned that not only was Truth back for more, but he would put away Barry and don his bedsheet, paper crown, and plunger scepter to ensure that the feud continued. Since Barry won the King of the Ring tournament in April, he and Truth have now faced each other 5 times in televised single matches, with King What's Up winning 4 of them. That's not a feud. That's a lopsided squash. Of course, wins and losses don't matter in WWE, and so we all treated to more matches between these two. The only saving grace to this embarrassment of a feud is that Barry will actually put the King of the Ring crown on the line at Battleground, which will hopefully end the feud once and for all. Then again, it could just spark another long series of trading victories. The Up. Number 8. Grown Man Hugging. When Brock Lesnar returned to WWE in April 2012, the reaction from fans was off the chart. The instant his music hit, fans started yelling, grabbing each other, and jumping up and down. It was a surreal moment as fans welcomed back a conquering hero. Monday night, we saw that Brock had not lost that momentum. In fact, it looked like becoming a fan favorite ass kicker had helped him even more. As Lesnar made his way down to the ring at the beginning of Raw, the camera found 2 men grabbing each other's shoulder as they cheered. The front row opposite the main camera started bowing to Brock, and a loud, long suplex city chant broke out. While it's not clear what is going to happen to Brock after Battleground, it's fair to say that fans are happy to see him back and would like to keep him around a little longer. It will be interesting to see how they handle Sunday WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Number 7. A random tag partner match that worked. WWE loves to do makeshift tag team matches where it takes 4 guys involved in 2 feuds and partners the faces together against the heel. It typically becomes a match that just doesn't work, at least not as well as the booker probably even envisioned it. But Monday's bout pitting Randy Orton and Ryback against Sheamus and Big Show actually worked pretty decently at the end. Miz antics on the outside helped immensely, but once Show chased Miz out of the arena, the real fun came when Sheamus channeled his inner Batista and gave Ryback the thumb down, only for Orton to slip in behind him, mock the pole, and RKO him. Ryback hit the big splash for the win. It helped when you have a crowd that is really into everything, as Monday's crowd was, but it just looked like things clicked nicely for the finish. Not every positive is going to be earth-shattering, and while this one was a small part of Raw, it still was good to see. Number 6. Fighting from underneath. When WrestleMania ended, WWE brass had to know they had their work cut out for them to rebuild Roman Reigns. The company had done a nice job of highlighting his strength and by partnering him back with Dean Ambrose. He absorbing some of the lunatic friend's good vibe with fans. But another move that looked like it might help was to have Bray Wyatt feud with Roman. The mind game had been hokey and made Reigns look like a fool, as opposed to a bruising hero. But the one thing that has been smart about the feud is that Reigns hasn't been able to get his hand on Wyatt. He always been one step behind until Monday. Roman jumped Bray and beat him up before a planned match against Ambrose. The good thing is that Wyatt walked Reigns with his lantern and walked away. So while Roman got a piece of Wyatt, it's still unsettled. Yes, this feud isn't setting the world on fire, and the mind game was stupid at times, but it still has worked well enough to garner a pretty good reaction Monday, and the 2 men should turn in a solid performance at Battleground. Number 5. Hollywood Heel. Despite the Intercontinental Championship 3-way feud being a mess, the Miz antics are starting to click. The one thing Miz has been good at is being a condescending, annoying heel. Putting him on commentary Monday allowed him to not only put over his opponent, but belittle them and ultimately antagonize them. Had this been a feud between just Miz and Ryback, it could work really well, with Miz avoiding Ryback but rooting for opponents to injure him. At a triple threat and with Big Show as another heel, it turned Miz more into David against 2 Goliaths. as a super threat announced a month ago. It had nowhere to go but round and round on the treadmill the past 4 weeks. Still, Miz mocking his opponent and distracting them fit his character really well. If nothing else, we've seen Miz show that he can be a good honky-tonk man, a deep bad guy. Number 4, true to form. At one point when Rusev, Kevin Owens, and Cesaro started arguing over who should face John Cena for the United States Championship, it looked like Owens was being lumped back into the crowd as one of the guys. Yet he was matching up against two really talented wrestlers, but he really has set himself apart in his first 2 months on the roster. This could be a sign that he was being unstrapped from his rocket to the top. Then the super threat started and everything became apparent. Owens matched Rusev and Cesaro for the first half of a brilliant match, then stayed perfectly true to his character by walking out on the match, yelling about how he had his title shot at Battleground. JBL later made that point abundantly clear that Owens was smart to save himself from a physical super threat to be fresh for Cena. Owens would further cement his standing when he knocked Rusev out with a Bulgarian brute, had Cena trapped in the accolade, yelling that only he was beating Cena for the U.S. title. Come Sunday, fans could very well see that come to fruition. Number 3, talking them into the building. The expression above perfectly describes Paul Heyman, who can make just about any match sound like it's a must-see affair. He can take a feud that's sputtering and make it sound like the most important feud taking place in wrestling today. If you miss a match Heyman is pushing, then you a fool who really lost out. Such was Paul E. missing Monday as he talked up the extraordinary opportunity to see Brock Lesnar as a challenger for a world title. He walked through 3 times he was a challenger: against The Rock in 2002, against Randy Couture in UFC, and against John Cena last year, and how each time he walked out as champion, Heyman laid into Kane a little about how he just Undertaker's baby brother, then pointed out that his client ended Taker's WrestleMania win streak. Ouch. Paul E. was on fire during the contract signing at the end, lashing out against violence and telling Seth point blank that he going to get suplexed and lose his title. Again, Heyman, Carnival, Barker act really work well in selling matches like this. There's a real art form what he does, making people care about feuds they shouldn't. It can be overstated. Number 2, tearing down the house. If you a wrestling fan looking for a reason to watch Monday Night Raw, WWE gave you 3 great reasons Monday. Kevin Owens, Rusev, and Cesaro had a bomb burner of a super threat match Monday night, with the latter 2 carrying on an incredible mini-match themselves after Owens' walk. It's impossible to detail all of the action. The contact pin attempt broken up, the double jumping suplex by Cesaro, his corkscrew dive over the top rope, Rusev power move, Cesaro countering the accolade with a giant swing and sharpshooter, and Rusev suplex onto the apron. Do yourself a favor and find a video of the entire match. This snippet should whet your appetite. Wow, it's unfortunate that Cesaro lost for the second week in a row. It was painted as an exhausted battle that could have gone either way, and the match had fans on their feet with respect for all 3 wrestlers, though mainly for Rusev and Cesaro in the second half of the match. Sometimes a loss can still be beneficial. For Rusev, this match reminded fans that the Bulgarian brute is one hell of a competitor who can deliver in the ring, given his downward spiral in recent months. That was probably necessary. And number 1, rebuilding the Diva division. Fans have been clamoring for it for what seems like forever, but on Monday, Stephanie McMahon officially ushered in a new era for the Diva division by introducing Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks to the Raw roster. It was done at the top of the 9 p.m. hour, with Stephanie making a grand announcement about how there was a revolution going on in women's sports, and it was time to make a change in the Diva division. Stephanie brought out the three NXT women after the Bellas and Alicia Fox had a little gloat session about how she had beaten everyone in the back, not unlike when AJ Lee bragged about beating all the Divas, and Paige made her way out to win the Divas Championship in her first WWE match. Paige, Naomi, and Tamina also made their way out during this showdown, and it led to three fashions of three battling and ended with the NXT women locking Team Bella and submission hold for a triple tap out. It was disappointing that Charlotte and Becky didn't come out to aid Paige on their own, and an argument could be made that having the heel authority member Stephanie McMahon just introduced the new women, and while that's valid, the truth is that this was a huge deal, shaking up the entire women's division in one fell swoop. Stephanie might have been out of place, but her being there emphasized how important it was. It made fans take notes. We will have to see if this really is a six shift, as JBL said, or just three more divas to compete in 3-minute matches on Raw. Given how Stephanie built the entire segment up, it feels like this might actually be a new day for the Diva division. Well, that's it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next one. Peace.